Suck me! Sunday is the Sabbath. Black Sabbath Sunday. Sunday is the Sabbath. Black Sabbath Sunday.
SHMACKEMAGOB, my friends. Hey, it's Black Sabbath Sunday. I know I reviewed all these albums, but I'm going to talk about Black Sabbath with Dio overall by showing you all I got from the Dio lineup. Where's that DVD? Just believe me, I have, oh, here it is. The Heaven and Hell DVD. This was recorded in Radio City Music Hall. I should talk about that later. Let's start from the beginning. This is my favorite album of Black Sabbath with Dio, and forever it's been my favorite album after the Ozzy lineup, but that has changed. But we're talking about Dio. This album is perfection. The thing about Black Sabbath with Dio, where Ozzy, the Ozzy era is more organic, more, human emotion and just, the feel where when Dio joined the band, they became perfection. It's a different band to me. I mean, it doesn't sound nothing like Black Sabbath. It shouldn't have been called Black Sabbath. It should have been called Heaven and Hell like it did in the end. But there's not a bad song on here. I know Walk Away kind of, sticks out like a sore thumb. Doesn't really match the vibe of the album, but it's still a fantastic song. But, starting it off with Neon Nights, Children of the Sea. I mean, how cool can that be? Lady Evil, the epic title track. Wishing Well, which I consider kind of like the dark horse on this album. Die Young, my favorite song off the album. Walk Away was the one I talked about earlier. And Lonely is the Word is another real dark horse on the album, which they do play on this, don't they? Yeah, they do play it on here. What an amazing solo on that song, and the lyrics, I've been higher than Stardust. Epic album, my favorite from the Dio era. And I got the Die Young single. Now the Die Young single has, on the B side, it has a Heaven and Hell live version that I think is the best live version of Heaven and Hell. Is on this single. That is on this, because this is the Rhino, expanded, brings it's a 2 LP, which it has Heaven and Hell live. It has Children of the Sea live, which is the B side of Neon Nights. Lady Evil, the mono 7-inch mix, Neon Nights live in 80. And Children of the Sea, Heaven and Hell, and Die Young live at 80 at Hartford, Connecticut, Hartford Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut, which I've had forever. It was part of the King Biscuit Flower Hour. Now I saw this tour at the Miami Highlight with Johnny Van Zant and Riot. Wasn't Blue Oyster Cult. I know they did the Black and Blue tour, but when they played Hartford, Connecticut, that was before I saw the Highlight show, because I remember recording it on a cassette on my stereo, and I lived with it for a while before I saw the Heaven and Hell tour, and it was epic, man. Then, and let me see, and I have the full Halford show on this, the bootleg, and I know you probably can't make it out, but Ronnie James Dio signed it with a Sharpie when I met him. That has the full show. And no, that's not true. It doesn't. It just has War Pigs, Neon Nights, Children of the Sea, Heaven and Hell, and Die Young, and Children of the Grave. No, that's it. The rest of it, the Born Again tour with Children of the Sea, Hotline, Zero the Hero, Smoke in the Water, and Paranoid. So it's like a split of Heaven and Hell tour and Born Again. Alright, then the next thing they released was a song, Mob Rules, on the Heaven and Hell. I mean, heavy metal soundtrack. And it's different. It's different than the version that is on here. It's a little more raw and primitive. Still kicks much ass. And what a song, Mob Rules. Which is the next album. The Mob Rules live album, which, I mean, Mob Rules, this is the 2-disc version, where the second disc has the heavy metal soundtrack Mob Rules. It has Die Young, that's a B-side from Mob Rules, and I have that here, which is a great live version, the single. Sign of the Southern Cross reprise from Hammersmith Odeon, and Country Girl Slipping Away, Mob Rules, and Voodoo from USA and Canada, previously unreleased. Now, the Hammersmith show, I do have it. I have like a burn copy inside my box set that's called The Rules of Hell, that brings all the Dio albums except for Heaven and Hell. All the Dio Black Sabbath albums, and I can't find the damn thing. I've been looking for it everywhere for this video, and I just gave up. Can't find it. But this album, I think, is heavier than Mob Rules. And, I mean, very close to being as good. I mean, it's that close. You know, Turn Up the Night, Voodoo. I don't even have to look at the album. The Sign of the Southern Cross, so epic. E5150, the creepy instrumental. Mob Rules, Country Girl, amazing song. Slipping Away, kind of the walk away of this song, because it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, but it rocks. Falling Off the Edge of the World, my favorite track off the album, and On, I mean over and over, which is up there with one of my favorite guitar solos Tony did. I mean, he goes apeshit on that. So, then they released this, and there was a lot of fighting going on in the studio. You know, it depends what side you know, the producer, Ronnie James Dio, blamed them. He was drinking a lot of alcohol and telling Tony and Geezer that Vinny and Ronnie were coming in here turning up everything. Then they'd come in and turn it up. It was a mess, but this album is awesome. I do prefer Live at Hammersmith. I think there's something funky about the audience noise on here. It just sounds so distant. It's kind of weird, kind of like a soundboard. But it's awesome. It is an awesome album, even with all the turmoil going on. But I gotta say, I'm not a fan of Dio doing the Ozzy stuff, but I will admit, when he does Black Sabbath, that's rules. Now, NIB does okay, but when I saw the Mob Rules tour, which I saw at the Hollywood Sports Tour with the Outlaws opening, I thought Ronnie did NIB better. He hit her higher notes on you know, Go Into Feel. I loved how he did it when I saw that show, where he doesn't do it on here. But other than that, you know, I mean, the Ozzy stuff, like the Dio stuff, like Neon Nights, Chillin' the Sea, Voodoo, Mob Rules, Heaven and Hell, the Sign of Southern Cross, and Heaven and Hell reprise, is awesome. It is a great album. I absolutely love Live Eater. Just happen to like the Hammersmith show more. So they break up. Dio goes and forms Dio, has a successful solo career. Then it kind of wanes off during, you know, it starts dipping after Sacred Heart, then Dream Evil, and Lock Up the Wolves. Albums I love. And, you know, it was just going downhill. So he rejoined Sabbath. And they released this, and as I understand, this took over a year to do, a lot of problems. Ronnie left the project, Tony Martin came in to sing, then he left and Ronnie came back. Cozy Powell was part of this, and I understand that, I heard different stories. I heard one story that Ronnie couldn't get along with Cozy, and I heard another one where Cozy had an accident riding a horse, and that's why he didn't do the album. It does have Vinny. See, I wish it would have had Cozy. I love Vinny though, but still, this is a fantastic album. But Heaven and Hell, then Mob Rules, then this one. It is in order. It is in order. But my God, Computer Gods, After All the Dead, TV Crimes, Letters from Earth, Master of Insanity, I know a lot of you love it. Time Machine, I don't like it at all. And that was the first thing I heard from it, because it was on the Wayne's World soundtrack. And I got worried, because I heard Ronnie got back with Sabbath. Then I heard Time Machine, I was like, I'm not digging it. I still don't dig it. Sins of the Father, I love that song. Very, you know, not talked about, like Letters from Earth. And Too Late's an awesome little ballady thing, but heavy. The song I is my favorite song, not off this album, but I like it more than any song off Mob Rules and Heaven and Hell. They may be better albums to me, but I is the best song Ronnie did with Sabbath, in my opinion. Then it ends with Buried the Dead, which is heavy, but and again, it's another disc with Master of Insanity single edit. Letters from Earth, a B-side version from TV Crime CD single, which I have. It's an extended, it's really good. Time Machine, the Wayne World's version. Children of the Sea live in '92. Then all live tracks on side 4, which was previously unreleased, which is Die Young, TV Crimes, Master of Insanity, After All the Dead, and Neon Nights. Now, I saw this tour too with Danzig. Die Young, they didn't play it complete. They did like half of it, and then Tony went into solo. I was kind of disappointed, because it's like probably my second favorite song with Sabbath with Dio. But still, this album's awesome, man. It's really, really heavy. It's a real heavy album. But I wouldn't say it's as strong as the first two, but it is still very strong. Then that went to shit, because Ozzy, they asked Sabbath to open for Ozzy, and they agreed, but Ozzy, Dio was like, fuck that, and he left the band. They brought in Rob Halford to do the show. Dio's gone, pissed off, releases Angry Machines, which to me is like Dehumanizer Part 2. Awesome album. Strange Highways, not Angry Machines. Then Angry Machines, and he comes back again, and they do a compilation called The Dio Years. Now this has 3 new tracks that are fucking awesome. The Devil Cried, Shadow in the Wind, and Here in the Wall. My favorite of the 3 is Shadow in the Wind, but man, all 3 songs, kick-ass, heavy, killer stuff. Alright, here's another bootleg. This one is from Tokyo 1980. It has Neon Nights, Sweet Leaf, Heaven and Hell, and Iron Man, and then the rest of it is the Hammersmith Odeon Never Say Die tour, and this album's called Angels and Devils. Another bootleg. Here's another bootleg called The Last Sacrament, and this one is, I believe it's the Heaven and Hell tour. Yes, it is, which is from Osaka, Japan. I guess it's that other one, which they do. Don't they do Lady Evil on here, which they didn't do by the time I. And I know they did Sweet Leaf on this tour. Yeah, Sweet Leaf, which another I did see them do that. But those are the rare tracks, you know, from that era. All right, then the final thing they released was this one's a grower. Heaven and Hell, The Devil You Know. I know a lot of people don't like this album. They think it's weak, it's, you know, it's just not up to par. I will say I prefer Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules, and Dehumanizer over it. But man, if you really just keep giving it chances, yes, it's just amazing. Bible Black, that one, I mean, how can you not get that one at first? I'm sure everybody that doesn't like that in this album loves Bible Black. Bible Black is in the vein of Children of the Sea and Sign of Southern Cross, kind of like the metal, mellow into metal. Adam and Evil, Rock and Roll Angel. I really love Follow the Tears. That's a really great one. Neverwhere, the heavy, fast song, probably the fast song on here. And it ends appropriately with Breaking Into Heaven, because this is the last thing Ronnie recorded. I mean, I know he did something with his cousin Feinstein, Metal Will Never Die, and I think he did a couple things for the Magica Part 2 he was working on, but it never was, you know, I think there's only a song or 2 done for it. But this one is, it's awesome. It's very doomy, very slow, and, you know, it's different, you know, it's like, that's the thing, even Dehumanizer, even the subject matter with, you know, the preacher molesting kids, and, you know, the way technology is taken over, it has, you know, and also the preacher asking for money and all that stuff. This is kind of the same thing, but it does get a little more evil in parts. Like Fear is another great song. This is a great album. It's really awesome, and I know it came out on vinyl, it's very expensive, so hopefully they will re-release it so I can get myself a copy of the vinyl. And I already talked about this. Radio City Music Hall. I know when this first came out, I said online, I said, this is really good, but the audience is kind of weak. And there were a couple people that were in this audience that saw me write that, and they weren't pleased. But that's how I feel. You watch this, maybe it's different. When they were there, the audience was more alive than it captured on here. But either way, that's it, man. I wanted to talk about the Ronnie James Dio era, Sabbath stuff, and, you know, Heaven and Hell is what the band should have always been called, because it doesn't sound like Sabbath to me. Nothing sounds like Sabbath to me after Ozzy left. Born Again didn't, neither did the Tony Martin stuff or Glenn Hughes. But what are you going to do? Anyway, that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to donate, I got a PayPal in the description below. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Right on. Listen to Black Sabbath with Dio. Listen to Heaven and Hell. And stay frosty and SHMACKEMAGOB.